In the first part of the video, I discussed the changes that the Jehovah's Witness has made, which included changes in the shunning policy, dress code for women, wearing facial hair, the education policy, and issues of mental health initiatives that the organization has initiated and recognized that members actually have an increasing mental health challenge. We also talked about the changes in the prophetic timeline. While these changes appear well-meaning, this video is going to discuss deeper forces that are driving these changes. So what you heard in the first part of this video is the official position. It's a face-saving stance of the Jehovah's Witnesses, in which they indirect acknowledging their errors and the many things that we've been telling them all these years. They have just acknowledged them in a very subtle and polite manner. So let's look at the real reasons why they've made these changes. First, there are legal and societal pressures. The strict shunning policy has long been criticized as harmful, especially when it leads to estrangement between family members. One of the viewers of my videos, who is an ex-Jehovah's Witness, said the following: "It should be made illegal by the way Jehovah's Witnesses split families." Critics have pointed out its impact on the mental health and coercive nature of the practice. So this shunning policy has been criticized, right, left, and center, because of the emotional toll it has on members, particularly on the shunned member. Some people have contemplated suicide, others have attempted suicide, and still, unfortunately, others have committed suicide because of this shunning policy.
Before I was 17, inclusive, I attempted suicide 3 times. The first 2 times, I don't think my parents knew about. But the third time, I ended up in the hospital.
I thought, the only way really out of this marriage was somebody had to die, right? So then it turned to like self-murder, like how can I kill myself, right? That led to eventually an attempt, right? Thought if I could mix that with basically any other kind of drugs that I might have, cold medication, all that. I just swallowed basically like, glass full of pills, I think. And just hoped that, I wouldn't wake up, from this. I had some sleeping pills in there too. But I did. I woke up probably like 20 hours later.
Let's listen to this clip and hear how that the Jehovah's Witnesses is facing many lawsuits in many countries.
On March 9th, 2023, there was a mass shooting at a Kingdom Hall in Hamburg, Germany. A disassociated member of the congregation killed 7 people, including a 7-month-old fetus, and wounded many others before turning the gun on himself. Why? The country of Australia considers the shunning policies of Jehovah's Witnesses to be cruel and unusual punishment. Why? The country of Norway has cut off funding to Jehovah's Witnesses and deregistered the religion. Why? The state of Pennsylvania has started court proceedings that involve issuing subpoenas to all the elders and all the congregations in the entire state. Why? The Spain branch of the Watchtower Society is suing a group of people for calling themselves victims of Jehovah's Witnesses. Why? In Mexico, an association of Watchtower victims is filing papers to have the government deregister Jehovah's Witnesses as a religion. Why is this? In Canada, over 200 people are petitioning the court for the right to launch a class action lawsuit against Jehovah's Witnesses. Why? What's going on in all of this? Oh, I can go on. I really could go on for some time. Do all these problems constitute the persecution that Jesus said his disciples are to expect? Or is all this proof that Jehovah's Witnesses are not Jesus' disciples at all?
So the real reason why they've relaxed the shunning policy or appear to relax the shunning policy to the public is because the governing board of the Jehovah's Witnesses is afraid of public shame, public criticism, particularly the lawsuits and the threat for legal protection. That is what is making them to make the changes. It's not because they want to align the policy with biblical principles. They've been reading the Bible all these years. When they were promoting shunning, they said this is in line with the Bible.
What is the very best thing we can do for those who are disfellowshipped? We already read it in 1 Corinthians 5:11. Stop keeping company with them, not even eating with them.
But because now they have touched where it hurts most, they have been forced to make adjustments and adaptations. If you are enjoying this program, don't forget to like, subscribe, and strike the notice bell so that every time I upload a new video, you will be notified. And then you can choose whether to watch it or not to watch it. What about beards and dress codes to reflect modernization? So officially they are saying, no, we're trying to accommodate modernization, we're trying to accommodate members from different cultural settings. But the real reason is that they've been criticized that the organization has been enforcing outdated dressing rules. The other reason is that they've been losing younger members. You know, young generations, they are professionals to breaking societal rules. So because they are losing membership, particularly failing to attract the members from the younger generations, which is important for the future of the organization, and because young people would not want to be associated with an organization with an outdated dress code, they've made this adjustment so that they can attract younger members of society. That is the real reason. It is not that they are modernizing. It's not that they are putting into consideration members from different cultural settings. They've always had members from different cultural settings. Let's talk about shunning and member retention. The organization has faced declining membership in the Western countries, where younger generations are increasingly critical of practices like shunning and rigid lifestyle rules. The real reason for relaxing the shunning policy is a calculated attempt to prevent further alienation of members who feel the practice is too harsh. So, on one hand, they want to make sure that they can attract members from outside the community, but also they want to retain the members who are very critical of this shunning policy. Let's look at point number 2, under declining membership in wealth nations, and that is education and career choices. What has happened is that the Jehovah's Witnesses has hit itself against the wall, and that is the wall of younger members. These are the members they very much need for the survival of the organization. And younger members say, I'm not willing to sacrifice my financial and career goals for some silly rules that are not even biblical. I'm not joining you. And because of the fear of the declining membership, Jehovah's Witnesses has woken up from its slumber. So, the sovereign stance on higher education is meant to retain young members by allowing them more freedom while maintaining overall control.
How did we get to this point? And what has been a major factor in the global expansion that Jehovah's organization has experienced? And what opportunities are open in the field for our young ones?
When you think of a missionary, perhaps you think of someone older who has been preaching for many years. But of course, many were very young when they started. In fact, in the mid to late 1940s, 30% of the missionaries sent from Gilead were under 24 years of age.
If you are enjoying this program, don't forget to like, subscribe, and strike the notice bell so that every time I upload a new video, you will be notified. And then you can choose whether to watch it or not to watch it. The intention is just allow them a little bit, like I mentioned, just open the door a quarter way, not even halfway. Let them come in, but still keep control over them. Still steer them in the direction of Jehovah. Let's look at part 3 of the real reasons why Jehovah's Witness has introduced these policies. Remember, this video is in 2 parts. For part 2 of this video, click on this link.